Okay, let's jump straight into Mr. Tambourine Man, and I'm going to keep this one as simple as I can for you guys. First things first, I've got a high G on this uke. If you have a low G, then you're going to want to substitute this string, all those zeros, for the 3 on your E string, okay, because that's the same note. That's your G, and that's your G. So, in other words, your tab won't look like this, it will look like this, and I'll just play that for you now. So the second bar is exactly the same. And the rhythms are the same, so even as I go through this version with the high G, the rhythms are the same, so you can apply it to your version with the 3. Okay, so without further ado, let's get on with it. So we're in 4/4 time, and our rhythm is going to be tea, tea, coffee, coffee, dump, dee, dump, dee, tea. So it's a lovely little rhythm. It's simple enough, very percussive, very good. And I just want to talk about my right hand for a second, because as some of you know, I am a guitarist first, so I tend to go into fingerpicking mode. So I will go thumb, index, middle, and ring. And I find that makes this so much easier for me, because I can just go index, thumb, ring, thumb, and then middle. And I can pull that off if I want to, or play it. So again, I tend to go index, thumb, ring, thumb, middle. Just because there's a bit of a rocking action. And with that in mind, if you're not a finger picker like me and you're playing it with a pick, you might find that's a bit of a leap to do all of that. So you could do what we talked about before. If you had a low G, you could use this G instead. So you don't have to use this one. By all means, use this one. Absolutely fine. Then it should be a lot easier for you, because I know a lot of uke players tend to go thumb and index. Let's try it that way. Let's go. Yeah. So that would be a bit more doable for you guys if you're used to just using 2 fingers or a pick. Let me grab a pick to show you this version first with the 3. Yep, that's nice and comfy. And then we'll do the version, the first version. So it required more thought, but it was okay actually. And I like the ringing. So at that point, it really is up to you and your preference of which version your fingers and your ear prefers. So C string first, whether you're picking or whether you're thumbing, whatever you're doing, but I'll keep showing you what I do. So C string, G string, A string, back to the G string, and then over there to your E, 1st fret with your index, and you can pull that off if you want or play it. I find it's a bit quiet on my uke if I pull it off, so I tend to play it. So that is my middle finger that I use. Okay, and like I said, the rhythm is tea, tea, coffee, coffee. We'll do it again. Tea, tea, coffee, coffee. Okay, let's see if we can get you playing along then. Here we go, counting you in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tea, tea, coffee, coffee. And again, 1. And this time I'll count it actually, so that I'm not just using mnemonics for you. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Let's do that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... And just a reminder guys, as always, you can slow down these videos if I'm going too fast for you. Hit the little cog on settings, playback speed 75 is good. 50 tends to make me sound like I'm underwater, but you know, to each their own. If you want to put me underwater, go for it. As long as you slow it down to your level, that's fine, absolutely fine. Okay then, bar 2, there's 2 ways of doing this. We can be pulling it off, or we can be playing it. You can see I'm playing it with my index finger, you could be doing it with your thumb, nice and strong. But I do like the pull off with this, so I encourage you to try it, but obviously this is the first time you're looking at this tab. So when you go to play it, you probably get, your instinct is going to kick in and you're going to play it like this to start with. And that's fine, please don't beat yourself up. It's much better that you get the concept of what we're trying to do first and then you put all the bells and whistles on later. Okay, so we'll do it without the pull-offs to start with, and then we'll really talk about them. So let's do mnemonics. So dump, ti, ti. I'll count you in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dump, ti, ti. Let's do it again, a little bit slower because I'm getting too into it because it's so percussive. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Dump, ti. And let's do it with numbers as well. So you'd probably count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so we'll give that a go. So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we'll do that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and super. Don't worry if you didn't get that. Remember, you can always rewind this video, you can slow it down, it's all good. Now then, let's talk about the pull-offs then. So we're going to assume that you've gone round and round that loads of times until you've got it in your fingers. So bells and whistles time. So when we're pulling off, we pluck the string and then it's all in the other hand, it's all in that left hand. And I do a slight drag. Can you see it's sort of going like that? So that I get my open string. Because if I just lift it off like that, it's alright, but it's very quiet. That's probably how you're going to start, by the way. You'll probably start with it sounding like that. So the way to get the better sound, you could kind of see my wrist angled slightly more towards the headstock. So I sort of went that way. And then you can see it wants to flick it. If I move that finger out the way, you can see a little bit better. So all fingers out the way. Oh, and you'll probably be playing this with your thumb, I would have thought, if you're used to, or with a pick, you know. All depends on what you're used to, but yeah, here we go. I'll do it with the thumb. So dump, ti. I just quite like doing that. I feel like it just puts a little bit of extra attitude on there, a little bit of je ne sais quoi. And you'll find what works for you. You can see I kind of prefer to have that index finger up. I don't know, I get a bit more leverage with it that way. Don't overbend it. Because one thing, you'll hurt your finger, because it tends to hurt where the tension is highest, which is down here. If it was up here, you can bend to your heart's content and it doesn't tend to hurt as much. But we don't want to do that anyway, because it's going to sound like a different song. You're overbending and you're changing the note. So just a little bend. Not even a bend really, just like I said, pull off. Just a slight pull off. Alright, that was a lot of waffle. Let's see if we can do those 2 bars, shall we? Counting you in. And I think I'll keep counting, alright? So get your fingers ready, think about where you got to go. Are you using the free or are you using the open G? Doesn't matter which one you use, so long as you know where you're going. So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Lovely. Now you might have noticed you've got double dots at either end of this solo. So you've got brackets, big thick black lines, and 2 double dots, right? And that just means repeat. So when you get to the end, you go right back to the beginning and you do it again. So that's what we're going to do, so let's do it. Here we go, with mnemonics and with the 3 as well. I'm going to try and use my 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. T, coffee, dump, T. Super duper, all right. And then let's see if we can do the whole thing. So we're working on stamina. So you're gonna do it twice. All right, we can do this, my friends, we can do this. Let's do it, all right. Wiggle the fingers because they might be a bit stiff because they've been concentrating for so long. But let's do it, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. Good stuff. And then for the sake of practice, I'm just going to do that a couple more times for you, all right? And I won't shout repeat this time. It's like a little test, mini test to see if you're happy with it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go around again. Super duper. Alrighty, well, I don't want to make this video too long and I want to keep it friendly for beginners. So I'm going to stop there for a second, okay? Treat this as part 1, and in part 2 we'll talk about the chords and a strumming pattern for you to use, alright? So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!